These are the solutions to the M8 exam from 2025. We're going to do paper 1, which is non-calculator, and then paper 2, which is calculator paper. Okay, first question says the exterior angle of a regular polygon is 9. How many sides does a polygon have? We're using the formula n is equal to 360 divided by e. So n is equal to 360 divided by 9, and that is going to be 36 divided by 9 is 4, and then add a 0, so it has 40 sides. Next question says, using a ruler and a compass only, construct the bisector of the angle NOP below, and do not rub out your lines of construction. So if you open your compass up, put the point of your compass at O and open it up a certain amount, and I'm doing this very roughly here, folks. This is not a good version of this at all. And you open it up a certain amount, and then from this point, open your compass a certain amount and do an arc inside. And then from this point here, open your compass the same amount and do your arc inside. And that's a very bad version of it. But you can see there, if I link those up, this point to my O with a straight line, I'm not using a ruler here, but if you were using a ruler, link that up, that would be the angle bisector. Make sure you use a ruler in yours. Next one says, Jackie and Gil each flipped a coin a number of times. Jackie said the coin was head 6 times out of 13. I think it's a fair coin. Gil says the coin is heads 15 times. I think the coin was heads 15 times out of 32. I think it's a fair coin. So whose conclusion is more reliable? And your answer is just Gil. And it's just he does more coin flips. Okay, so it's always going to be the one who has flipped the thing more time. Right, number 3 is a binary number one. There's lots of different ways of doing this one. I use a very simple way of doing it. There's quicker ways of doing it probably. But I just write down the number 1, 0, 1, 1, 1. And this 1 stands for 1. The next one in stands for 2. The next one in stands for 4. The next one in stands for 8. But I leave it blank. And the last one stands for 16. So we add this up. So 16 plus 4 is 20. 2 plus 1 is 3. 20 plus 3 is just 23. Next one says, write the decimal number 32 is binary. Or sorry, 34. 32 is the biggest number, which is power of 2, which fits in. 16 wouldn't fit in. 18 wouldn't fit in. 32 fits in. 16 wouldn't fit in. 8 wouldn't fit in. 4 wouldn't fit in. And 2 would fit in. So the next one is a 2, and then your 1 wouldn't fit in. So then underneath, that one's switched on, that one's off, that one's off, that one's off, that's on, and that's on. So it is just your answer then. Just write it in there as well. Remember, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0. Next one says, a parallelogram is enlarged by a scale factor 4. How many times bigger is a perimeter? So perimeter is to do with length than the perimeter of the original. It's 5 times bigger. How many times bigger is the area? So for the length then, k is equal to 5. For area, the scale factor is k squared. So 5 squared, so it is 25. So it's 25 times bigger. Next one, we've got simultaneous equations. So it says, given that, and I'll call this equation 1, call this equation 2, work out the value of 9x plus 5y. So what you must do first is solve the pair of simultaneous equations, and then once you get your x value and y value, fire it into this to see what this thing is worth. But we've got to solve the equations first. I'm going to say, first of all, I'm going to eliminate y. So I'm going to do that by getting the number of y's in both equations the same. So multiply equation 1 by 2 and equation 2 by 3. So equation 1 by 2 is going to give me 4x plus 6y is equal to 20. The other one is going to give me 15x minus 6y is equal to 132. So 44 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12. And 3 times 4 is 12 again, plus the 132. That's how I got that. And then we want to just add those. And you'll get 19x is equal to 152. X then is equal to 152 divided by 19. Not easy to do. But if you do it, you will get 8. Once you've found it, fire it into equation 1. Use the original equation 1 up here. So that's going to be 2 times 8 plus 3y is equal to 10, which means 16 plus 3y is equal to 10. 3y equals minus 6. A little bit of working out y equals minus 2. You could check it. I've already checked it. But what we're just going to do is then fire it into 9x plus 5y. So it's going to be 9 times the x, which is 8, and then plus 5 times the y, which is minus 2. What's 9 times 8? 9 times 8 is 72, minus 10, 62 should be the answer we're looking for. The next one says the volume of the water in a reservoir was 9 by 10 to the power of 8 cubic meters. The volume was increased by 30%. We'll work out the new volume. So you've got 9 times 10 to the power of 8. That's multiplied by 1.3 to increase it by 30%. So just do that at the side. We'll just do 1.3 times 9. And 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times 1 is 9. Plus that is going to be 11. And then so it's going to be 11.7. So it's 11.7 times 10 to the power of 8. That's what I would call substandard form. Divide the 11.7 by 10 to give you 1.17. You've divided it by 10, so that 10 to the power of 8 must be multiplied by 10, so it becomes 10 to the power of 9, and the units then are meters cubed. Nice, we index 1 here, find the value of 3 to the power of 0. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. 5 to the power of minus 1, that's 1 over 5 to the power of 1, or 1 over 5. And then 10 to the power of minus 3 is 1 over 10 cubed, or 1 over 1000. Okay, these similar shapes, A and B are similar shapes. The ratio of the surface area of A to the surface area of B is 1 to 9. So this is our area is equal to 1 to 9. What is the ratio of heights? So heights is to do with length. So just square root 1, you get 1. Square root the 9, you get 3. And the ratio of the volumes. So this thing gets cubed. 1 cubed gives you 1. 3 cubed gives you 27. Next one says y is inversely proportional to the square of x minus 1. Y equals 5 when x equals 3. Work out the values of x when y is equal to 80. Okay, no idea. Let's have a go. Y is inversely proportional to the square of x minus 1. So y equals k over x minus 1 squared. And then put in y equals 5, x equals 3. So 5 is equal to k over 3 minus 1, which is just going to be 2 squared. Multiply across 5 times 2 squared equals k. 2 squared is 4 times 5 is 20. 20 equals k. Rewrite your equation. Y then equals 20 over x minus 1 squared. And we want to find the x value in y equals 80. So y equals 80. 80 equals 20 over x minus 1 squared. And let's do a wee bit of cross multiplying. 80 times x minus 1 squared is equal to 20. Divide across by 80, x minus 1 squared is equal to 20 over 80. X minus 1 squared then is equal to 1/4. And then x minus 1 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 1/4, which means x minus 1 is equal to plus or minus 1/2, which means x minus 1, we'll write that as x is equal to 1 plus or minus 1/2. Which means x, we'll do the minus 1 first. 1 minus 1/2 is just 1/2. We'll do the positive one. 1 plus 1/2 is 1.5. So you can see we've got our two answers. Okay, the next one, what are we on? Question 11. It says solve the equation. Lovely wee surge question here. X root 50 minus x root 2 is equal to 5. We want to change this one to be x times root of 25 times root of 2, and then minus x times root of 2 is equal to 5. So that's really the same as, I'm going to write these differently, that's really annoying me. You've got root 25 is 5, root 2x, that's a nicer way to write it, minus root 2 of x is equal to 5. And then here, the left-hand side, if you had just 5x minus x, that would just be 4x. So if you have 5 root 2x minus root 2x, that's just going to give you 4 root 2x is equal to 5, which means x is equal to 5 divided by 4 root 2. And then it says with a rationalized denominator. So what you're going to do with this thing here is multiply top and bottom by root 2. This is a tough question. 5 times root 2 is 5 root 2. Root 2 times root 2 is just 2, so it's just 4 times 2. So what it works out to be is 5 root 2 over 8. Next one says work out the value of 0.81 recurring minus 0.5 recurring. Lots of ways of doing the 0.81 recurring. I'm just going to do it out my old-fashioned way probably. I'm going to write my r is equal to 0.8111, and one different digit is repeating, so multiply it by 10, and then that's what I get. Write down the r underneath it, lining up the decimal points, and then subtract. You'll get 9r, and subtract over here. What happens? All these digits disappear, so it's just 8.1 minus 8, which is 7, minus 0.8, sorry, which is 7.3. My r then equals 7.3 divided by 9. Let's make that a little bit prettier. That's 73 over 90, okay? The 0.5 recurring, you're going to save yourself a lot of time if you just learn that 0.5 recurring is 9/5, just like 5/9. 0.7 recurring would be 7 over 9. So I would just learn that off. So what we want to look at then, it was 0.81 minus 0.81 with the 1 recurring minus 0.5 recurring. That's the same as 73 over 90 minus 5 over 9. And then that's the same as 73 over 90 minus 50 over 90. We've got a common denominator. We're good to go. That's 23 over 90, and that's as nice as we can do it. Tough enough wee question. That's a way they've done. They've made a very easy topic. They've made it quite difficult. Okay, another tough question here. A circle has a center 0, 0. The equation of the tangent to the circle at a point P is y is equal to 3x plus 20. Find the equation of the radius OP. Okay. Circle has a centrally origin. Let's just do a wee sketch here. I have to do this to make sure I knew what I was doing here. There's my O. The equation of the tangent to the circle at the point P is 3x plus 20. So it has a positive gradient. So it's either going to be here to have a positive gradient, or it's going to be here. Now it has to be this top one because the intercept is 20. So this tangent has to cut through 20. So this is going to be my point P. So a wee sketch I think is useful. My radius then, the radius and the tangent meet at right angles. So if the gradient of the tangent is equal to 3, as we said, that means the gradient of the radius is equal to the negative reciprocal of that, so it's 1/3. So the equation of the radius is it's a straight line, y equals minus 1/3 x plus c. Notice my radius goes through the origin. So it goes through the origin, so just put that in. So 0 for my y, 0 for my x. A wee bit of working out, my c is 0, so my equation is y is equal to 1/3 of x. Okay, if you didn't really need this bit, you could have sort of skipped this out just by if you knew that, great. If you understood that, that's fine. But there we are. There's our equation of our radius. It says next, find the coordinates of P. Okay, let's think about P. Right, there's your tangent. And there was your radius. And P is here. It is where those two lines intersect. So we've got this line, tangent, and we've this line for radius. We're going to put those two lines equal to find our point P. So put two lines equal. So 3x plus 20, let me just check. I'm looking back here to check. Yep, that was my equation, my tangent. My radius we worked out to be minus 1/3 x. This is a non-calculator exam, remember. 3 1/3 x then is equal to minus 20. That means x is equal to minus 20 divided by 3 1/3. Right, let's do this out. Write your minus 20 as minus 20 over 1. Write your 3 1/3 as 10 over 3. And then to do dividing fractions, you flip your dividing fraction and then it multiplies. And I'm just going to do that as, what's that going to be, minus 60 over 10. X equals minus 6. And then fire that back in, just say when x equals minus 6, y is equal to, and you could put it either into y is equal to minus 1/3 x or this one. I put it into the y equals 3x plus 20 for some reason. I think now I'll just put it into the other one. So minus 1/3 times minus 6. 1/3 times 6 is 2, and minus times minus is plus 2. So when I did it, you have to take my word for it. When I did it in the other one, I got the same thing, and there's my answer, minus 6, 2. Hence find the equation of the circle. Right, how do we find the equation of the circle? What have we got? Okay, well, we know it goes through the origin. We need to find the r, and we've just worked out that p was minus 6, 2. So the radius is going to be the length, OP. Okay, so that's what we're going to do here. So first of all, your radius is equal to your length, OP. So you can just see the p there above, that was minus 6, 2. So it's going to be minus 6 minus 0 squared plus 2 minus 0 squared and the square root. Sorry, I didn't explain where that comes from. That comes from length is equal to x1 minus x2 squared plus y1 minus y2 squared and the square root of all that. And if you did that out, you're going to get, that's going to be 36 plus 4 square rooted. So that's root of 40. And then a general equation of a circle which goes through the origin is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So that means if r is equal to root 40, r squared would just be 40. So it's x squared plus y squared equals 40. Oh, done this one out already. Right here, I'll have to do this out again here. Apologies, didn't realise I had that one already written out here. Okay, and this one says a is equal to 3 minus root 2 upon 5 plus root 3 minus 3 root 3 minus 5 root 2. B is equal to 2 minus root 27 squared plus 12 root 3. And C is equal to root 83 plus root 77 upon root 83 minus root 77. Prove that one of A, B, and C is irrational, one is prime, and one is neither. So we've got to just work these out basically. So we're going to work out our A, our B, and our C. Just multiply them out effectively and see what we get. So I think this is the last question on our non-calculator paper. So first of all, 3 times the 5, that's just going to give you 15. 3 times the root 3 is 3 root 3. Then minus root 2 times 5 is minus 5 root 2. And then minus root 2 times root 3 is minus root 6. And over here we had minus 3 root 3, and then minus is a plus 5 root 2. Okay, if you tidy that up, first of all, what I notice then, my 3 root 3 and this minus 3 root 3 goes, the minus 5 root 2, and this goes, just leaving you 15 minus root 6. And you can see I've said here that is irrational then, because it's got a root in it. For my B, let's just write this out the long way. That's 2 minus root 27 squared. Oops, sorry, I will write it out the long way I just said, and I didn't. 2 minus root of 27 plus 12 root 3. If you do this out, you're going to get 4 minus 4 root 27 plus root 27 times root 27 is just 27, then plus 12 root 3. Wee bit of working out to do here. The root 27 is the same as root of 9 times root of 3, then plus 27 plus 12 root 3. Root 9 is 3 times 4 is just going to be 12, so that's going to be 4 minus 12 root 3 plus 27 plus 12 root 3. And you can see here what happens. The third part cancels, just leaving you 31. And 31 is prime. Part C, what was it? Oh, it's a nice one. It's root of 83 minus root of 77 upon root of 83 plus root of 77. This is a difference of two squares. That's just going to give you 83 minus 77, which just gives you 6. And 6 is neither prime nor irrational. And that is it. So that's us done for the non-calculator paper. It's quite quick. Go through that one. Right. Let me see. Where are we? Right, paper 2. This is a calculator paper. Okay, right. The spinner is spun 400 times in total. The table shows some of the numbers the table shows some of the numbers of times it landed on the number 4 and some of the relative frequency values. So how they get this 2? They do this 0.2, sorry. They do the number of 4s divided by 100. That's how you get the 0.2. So the next one says calculate the missing relative frequency. So this number here is just going to be 39 divided by 200, which is 0.195. The next one says calculate the number of times it landed on a 4. So I've just called this thing A. That's what I'm looking for here. So A divided by 300 is equal to 0.24. That means my A is just going to be equal to 0.24 times 300. Thankfully, we're on to a calculator paper now, and that's just going to be 77. Right, very hard for me to do it. I'm not even going to attempt to do this one. To be honest, this is a loci one. I can't really show you this very well in this one. ABC is a rectangle. Shade the region inside the rectangle which is closer to AB than to DC. Right, where is AB? First of all, AB is here. DC is here. So it's basically you're doing the perpendicular bisector of this line. So you'd put your compass here, open it up a certain distance above, or to the left I should say, the same over here, and we'll put your compass here and open up a certain distance as well. Open it from D, open it up a certain distance, and you'll see where they intersect, and where they intersect is a perpendicular bisector. Okay, so that's really what you want to do. And also shade the region inside the circle which is less than 7 centimeters from A. So you open up on your compass 7 centimeters. I have no idea what 7 centimeters is. I haven't got a paper here. Doing this on a digital thing, so that's going to be and then you just do an arc which is 7 centimeters, and you want to shade the region inside a rectangle which is closer to AB than to DC and less than 7 from A. So it's going to be this wee shade. Okay, and that's it done. Apologies for that. It's not a great way of doing it. Indices, just subtract the powers. 12 minus 3 is 9, d to the power of 9. And d squared times what gives you d to the power of 8? It's d to the power of 6. This one I'll do a wee bit of working out. What's that going to be? D to the power of 30 over d to the power of 10. And that's going to be equal to d to the power of 20. So that would have been a 20 there. Okay, by drawing a suitable line on the grid, solve the simultaneous equation. So this graph, first of all, is minus x plus 5. That's the one that they've already drawn. So we have to draw y equals 2x minus 1. So 2x minus 1 crosses at minus 1 and has a gradient of 2. That means for every one I go across, I go up 2. When I go across, I go up 2. You can see there, I'm doing this without a ruler. I've got a series of points in that this thing goes through. And then you can link that up using your ruler. It's just incredibly hard to use a ruler on this blasted thing. So here we are. That's our point. So my answer, what is that? 2, 3. X equals 2, Y equals 3. Next one, lovely little inequality one. Oh, I've missed one. Lovely little inequality question. Just multiply it out. You'll have 6x plus 3 is less than 8. 6x then is less than 8 minus 3. 6x is less than 5. X is less than 5 over 6. That's all you can do. Next one, make number 6, make x the subject. So bring all the x's to one side first of all. 5x minus vx equals 4y. Pull an x outside a bracket. 5 minus v is equal to 4y. X then is equal to 4y all over 5 minus v. Done. Okay, right. Rachel's buying a scoop of ice cream and a scoop of sorbet. 8 flavours of ice cream are mint, peach, lemon, vanilla, butterscotch, honeycomb, chocolate and toffee. The 5 flavours of sorbet are mint, peach, lemon, raspberry and strawberry. In how many ways can she choose 1 scoop of ice cream and 1 scoop of sorbet? Okay, there's no other restrictions. So there's 8 ice creams and then 5 sorbets. It's 8 times 5, which is 40, which is a pretty easy 2 marks. Next bit says, a wee bit trickier, how many ways can she choose 1 scoop of ice cream and 1 scoop of sorbet, which are different flavours? I'll show you 2 ways of doing this. So there's 8 flavours, but we've got mint, and you've got mint again, so you can't use it. You've got peach, and you've got peach again, so you can't use it. And you've got lemon again. So 3 of our flavours are out. So what way you could do it is, there's 3 flavours. This is my way of thinking about it. 3 ways, 3 flavours, and they have only got 4 other options. And the other 5 have got 5 other options. So you can do it that way, which would be 12 plus 25, which is 37. That was my way of doing it. Now, a smarter way of doing it, which I didn't think of, I have to say, would be you had 40 options in total, and then you just take away the mint and mint, peach and peach, and lemon and lemon. So, or, and this is probably a better way, you had 40 ways of doing it in total, and then the 3 which you aren't allowed, take them away, which again gives you 37. So I know which one is the easiest way of doing it, but I have to say that's the way I thought about it when I was doing it. Okay, an unusual question here. It says, draw the image of a triangle after reflection of the line y equals x, followed by an enlargement. It's not very often they do this, where there's like the 2 transformations coming on, so a bit unusual. So first of all, draw the image of a triangle after reflection of the line y equals x. Again, not an easy thing for me to show here, but this point goes where it is. This point here is 1 diagonal square away, 1 diagonal square away then on this side. This is 1, 2 diagonal squares away, 1, 2 diagonal squares away. So that's my first thing after my, whatever it was, reflection of the line y equals x. The next thing we had to do was followed by an enlargement scale factor half, centre minus 40, mark on your centre. So an enlargement scale factor half means, if you notice I go from here to the first point, I have to go 4 squares. 4 times a half is 2. So from here, I'm just going 2 squares, and that will take me to my first point. And then the best way of doing it, to be quite honest, is just to think about what length this shape was. So this was length 4. Half of 4 is 2. So it's now going to be 2. This is height 2. Half of 2 is 1. So now going to be 1. And then link it up. And there we have it. There's your answer. Done. Okay, let's keep going. Right. Describe fully the single transformation which maps shape A to shape B. Right, this is not a rotation because it's changed size. It has to be an enlargement because it's changed size. What we know, or we should know then, the size of this thing is it's half as big. So from A to B, it's half as big. So it's first of all, let's get the easy marks. It's an enlargement. Scale factor equal to a half. And then the centre we need to find. So this point here goes to here. draw a straight line between those. And also the other point that's obvious is this point goes to this point, and we're going to link those up. Just do a straight line to them using a ruler, and then you can see my center of enlargement was actually here. So there's where my center of enlargement is, whatever that is, 0, -1. So center 0, -1. Okay, and that is it. Next one, number 10, says the probability that Jo misses the midweek practice is 0.1. So she either misses or she doesn't miss. If Jo misses the midweek practice, probably she will be selected. So I'm going to say selected or not selected. Selected or not selected. Okay, so let's read the question again. The probability that Jo misses the midweek practice is 0.1. So that's 0.1. That means it must be 0.9 that she doesn't miss. Then next line. If Jo misses the midweek practice, the probability that she'll be selected for Saturday is only 0.2. Fair enough, really. And then 0.8 that she will be that she will not be selected. And then next line. If Jo does not miss the midweek practice, that's the 0.9. The probability that she will be selected for the match on Saturday is 0.7, and then that's 0.3. Complete the tree diagram and use it to find probability that Jo will not be selected. So I'm looking for this branch or this branch here. So that's what we want. So the probability she is, we'll just write down not selected, is 0.1 times 0.8 plus 0.9 times 0.3. I know this is a calculator exam, but that would be 0.08 plus 0.27, and if you add those, that's going to be 0.35. Okay, getting on to sort of trickier calculator questions now, where you've got to really use your calculator. A bit of trig, Pythagoras, all of these sorts of things coming up in the last few questions. Right, first of all, it says calculate the value of ABC. Where is ABC? ABC is here in the triangle above. But to do that, we've got to find this side first, because you've got an opposite side and an angle pairing. And we can find another opposite. So we use the sine rule to find the theta. Once you find theta, you will know this angle. You'll know this angle. You can take them away, add them and take them away from 180 to find your alpha. So we're going to find theta first. So using the sine rule, sine theta over its opposite side of 8 is equal to sine of 38 over its opposite side, which is 9. Let's do we multiply across. Sine theta then is equal to 8 times sine of 38 all over 9. Bit of working out. Sine will minus 1 of that, I'll get 33.17889. I've clearly done this earlier on. And then my alpha is equal to 180. 180 minus the 38 minus the 33.17889. So my alpha works out to be 108.82, sorry, I can't read my own handwriting, 0.82 degrees to 2 decimal places. Next one, cuboid measures 5 by 7 by 10 as shown. Calculate the length of the space diagonal. Now the space diagonal is from the front bottom left to the top back right. Again, if I had a ruler, this would be great. Front bottom left to the top back right. It's that whole thing. So the length of it is, if you have a cuboid, it's all 3 sides squared and then added and then square rooted. And if you do that on your calculator, you'll get the square root of 174. I'd probably give that to 2 dp's as well, which is 13.19 centimeters to 2 decimal places. Next bit, it says calculate the angle the space diagonal makes with one of the largest faces. So the largest face is this. You've got loads of face, that's the largest face in that cuboid, the 7 by 10 one. So if you imagine I'm going to draw a line along the base and then vertically up. So I've created a wee triangle. That's my theta. That's a right angle. I'll call that A, B, and C. And I'm going to redraw that triangle again. So what do we have? We had A to B to C. That was my right angle. And AC was the space diagonal which I worked out. And look what I'm using. I'm using 174, the exact perfect version of it. And the height of it is 5. That's 5. That's also going to be 5. So BC is 5. And this is the angle we're looking to find, is it? It is indeed. Okay, lovely. Okay, one of my favourite things, a wee bit of 3D trig. We're using sine. Sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So 5 over root of 174. And sine to minus 1 then. And that works out as 22.27 degrees to 2 decimal places. 2 more to go. Okay, box contains 6 red candles, 5 green candles. That's a total of 11 in total. And Tom takes 2 candles from the box at random. What is the probability that the 2 candles are the same colour? Okay, what is Tom up to? We've got red, and then green. And then after that, you could have red or green again. There's 6 red out of 11. That means there's 5 green out of 11. If he's picked out a red, we're down to 5 reds, and we're also down to 10 overall. We still had our 5 greens out of 10. If he picks out a green, we're down to 4 greens out of 10, and we've still got our 6 reds, but now out of 10. So we want the probability the same, which means he can get a red candle and a red candle, or, when you say or, you add, you can get a green candle and a green candle. So red and red is going to be 6 out of 11 times 5 out of 10, plus green was 5 out of 11, and green again was 4 out of 10. Again, I wouldn't bother using my calculator here. That's going to be 30 over 110 plus 20 over 110. 30 plus 20 is 50 over 110, which is just 5 over 11. Okay, lovely question. Not so lovely, this last one. There's a bit of a trick to it, I think. Okay, right, last question. Last question exam, only 6 marks. So if you get it, fantastic. If not, everybody should be able to get something out of this, really. If you get started, it says triangles ABC and BCD have the same area. And it tells you a few lengths here. AB is 8, BC is 6, angle ABC is 40, angle CBD is 32. Find the length of CD. So what we need to get is this length, but we need to work with the areas first of all. So we'll find this area of the first one. We'll find area of the triangle ABC, and what we're using here is a formula. Area is equal to a half AB sine C. Now we can use this because we have a side, and the included angle. So that's why we can use this. So in this case, it is a half times 8 times 6 times sine of 40. Now, if you do half times 8 times 6, what's a half times 8? It's 4 times 6 is 24 sine of 40. That's perfect. All right, I could go to a whole pile of decimal places. I'm wasting my time if I do that, so I'm not going to do that. But we know then that's what the area of this, we're told these 2 triangles are the same, so this triangle here is also going to be worth 24 sine 40. That's what its area is going to be. But we'll look at, we're going to call this thing, just say, therefore, area of the second triangle, sorry, what was it? What's it called? What do they call it? BCD. BCD, it also equals then 24 sine 40. Let's call this side X. Now, why we have to introduce this side is there's a side, and there's the included angle. So we have to use X. So I'll zoom out here for a second. 24 sine 40 is equal to a half times 6 times X times sine of 62. I'll zoom in again, tidy that mess up. That's 24 sine 40, A half times 6 is 3. So 3x sine 62. And then 24 sine 40 divided by 3 sine 62 is equal to x. And then x is equal to, and when I worked it out and I've gone to 5 dp's, I got 5.82402. Okay, why on earth are you doing this? Now look what we've got. I'll redraw this in this triangle. What have I just said there? 5.82402. I'll call this thing y. We can now use the cos rule. You've got a side, their included angle, so we can use a cos rule to find the other side. So that's why we're doing this. So we're going to use the cos rule. They didn't give you very much space for this, should have done. We're using the cos rule. So y squared will be equal to, I'll zoom out in a wee second, 5.8204. Sorry, that's not right. 5.82402 squared plus the 6 squared minus the 2 times the 5.82402, and then times the 6, and then that was times the cos of 62. When I did that, I got my y squared to be 37.10864. Square root, I got my y to be 6.09 centimeters, and that's the 2 decimal places. So you can see there, that's what I was doing. You can just about see on the screen there, and that is it. And folks, that is the end of the exam. Done.